Well, happy Tuesday, happy Valentine's Day, and happy a 1 week before Mardi Gras here at Talk About It Tuesday. My name is Mike Owens, and I'm a recruitment marketing specialist and a human resources specialist for the Veterans Health Administration, as well as your host for our weekly segment here at Talk About It Tuesday. If you're new to the broadcast, I want to let you know that we are here every Tuesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. So feel free to grab a snack, grab something to drink, and join us as we talk about careers at VA. Also, whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been with us for the whole 3 years, you know that we want you to be part of the conversation. So feel free to leave any questions and comments in our comment section. Our team and I will go through those comments throughout the day and throughout the week to make sure that all questions are answered and all comments are addressed. And we all know someone who wants to work here at VA. So we ask that you please share our broadcast. Click that share button. We have 2 hashtags that we have associated with this broadcast is hashtag work at VA. Again, hashtag work at VA, and then hashtag VA career. So when you click on that share button, feel free to use those 2 hashtags. So last week we made our Super Bowl picks, and if you watched the broadcast last week, you know that I did choose the Eagles, but unfortunately they came up short at the end. But I did think it was a good game. So again, I guess we have to wait till next season. So already for next season, my Super Bowl pick for 2024 will be the New Orleans Saints. So just you heard it here first. So with that, we have a very special program today. We have not only one guest, we have 2 guests. I know we're always trying to find something new. And we're trying to innovate more. So yes, we have 2 guests today. Today we're going to be talking to 2 awesome ladies that's from the VA's Veteran and Military Spouse Talent Engagement Program, or VMSTAP. VMSTAP again. VA's Veteran and Military Spouse Talent Engagement Program from VMSTEP. And first, we have Dr. Andre Sutton. She's from Brooklyn, New York, and she's retired Air Force, and she serves as the Director of Operations for VMSTEP. And also, we have Miss Cassia Davis, that she's originally from West Virginia, but now in the D.C. area, and she serves as a senior human resources specialist for VMSTEP. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce our special guest today. Hi, Dr. Sutton and Ms. Davis.
Hi, Mike. Thanks so much for inviting us.
All right. Well, we welcome you. And I know our team is excited. I know talking to you ladies earlier, we were all excited. I know that our audience is excited to learn about VMSTEP and learn all the great things that you guys do and how what you look for in proper candidates. So are you ready?
Absolutely.
So I'll just ask the questions and whoever jumps in.
Great.
All right. So our first question for today is just for some background for both of you. What first brought you to VA?
So I'll go first if you don't mind, Cassia. My first exposure to the VA, believe it or not, is when let me give you a little bit of background. I was in recruiting in the Air Force for 16 years. So when I was a rookie recruiter back in Southern California at Norton Air Force Base in that area, we used to deliver fruit baskets to the local VA facility, which was the VA Medical Center at Loma Linda. And that was kind of my first exposure to the VA. And then later on in my recruiting career, we used to do job fairs quite a bit. And often they had government tables close to each other. So I was at a table with the VBA folks, the vocational rehabilitation counselors. And I kind of asked them, what do you do? And, how do I get into a job like that? And they explained it to me. And I thought that it really aligned very well with the recruiting concept because it was part, career counseling. So I kind of aligned all of my preparation towards retirement, towards becoming a vocational rehabilitation counselor. And that actually was my entry into the VA, was working as a voc rehab counselor initially.
Okay. Ms. Davis?
Yes. So as a young HR specialist working in the Mecca.
You're still a young HR specialist.
Working in the Mecca of federal government here in Washington, D.C., I was attracted to the Department of Veterans Affairs because of its mission. My father being a chief in the Air Force and my mom a military spouse, I thought, that's very interesting. I should go work there. And I applied for a job, and in 2002, got a position. So became a human resource specialist here at the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Awesome. Awesome. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you all I know you all have a busy schedule, so we thank you for taking time to talk with us today and talk to our audience. So my next question is, you just, mentioned what first brought you to the VA. So what interested you in working for the VIM-STEP program with veterans and military spouses?
Well, for me, it's always been about giving back when you work for the VA. That's
Right.
kind of, I think, the calling that I think all of us that, have worn the uniform at one point in time is that we really want to give back. I had a pretty dynamic career in the Air Force, and I know that I've been blessed to have that. And I also know that we stand on the shoulders of those that have gone before us.
Right.
So I've had the privilege and the honor of meeting Tuskegee Airmen through the years and other heroes that weren't as popular as the Tuskegee Airmen, but nevertheless, they were heroes in their own right.
Right.
So when you think about it, when we say veterans, actually we belong to the world's largest fraternity. Anywhere you go, if you can have a conversation with a person and you find out that they served, we're all part of that collective group that very few people are able to say that they've actually worn the uniform in their time. So we all know it's a very small population. But I also know that a lot of folks also want to give back. And so VIM-STEP is, the place that I've found where we can actually help individuals actually put their packages together, get some great tools and resources from dynamic senior HR specialists like Cassia that basically will help them put together a competitive package so that they can actually compete for opportunities within the VA. So that's what brought me over to VIM-STEP, was basically helping to provide a forum for those that want to continue to serve in a VA capacity to be able to do so.
Awesome.
I think that's a great question. What interests me in working for the Veterans and Military Spouse Talent Engagement Program, it directly ties to our mission as VA. So from the start of working at VA, I've always been passionate about, the mission of VA. So now I have a direct impact on employment for transitioning military service members, veterans, and military spouses. So yes, that is the mission.
Awesome, awesome. So now I guess we talked about what brought you to the VA. We talked about what brought you into the VIM-STEP program. Now, I guess our audience is now, okay, tell me, what is the VIM-STEP program? Tell us. So can you let our audience know a little bit about the Veterans and Military Spouse Talent Engagement Program and how it serves VA mission?
Absolutely. Cassia, do you want to go first?
Oh, yes, I'll go first. VIM-STEP was officially stood up in October of 2022.
Okay.
We have partnerships with GI Jobs, Hiring Our Heroes, American Legions, Student Veterans of America, just to name a few. This helps us bring military veterans, transitioning military service members, and military spouses into the VA. Such great talent. We also have published a hiring guide for the HR professionals and hiring managers with special hiring authorities and other flexibilities that focus on veteran hiring. We also have a website now that we are reconstructing, so it will be veteran and military spouse friendly. But another website that would be helpful is Feds Hire Vets. So it falls under the under the Office of Personnel Management, and it covers things for job seekers, resume writing, how to apply for federal jobs, where did my resume go, information about the hiring process, and so much more.
Good deal. Yeah, and I'd also like to add on to that the Veterans and Military Spouse Talent Engagement Program provides employment readiness services to individuals as well as outreach. And our targeted audience are transitioning service members, as well as veterans, as well as military spouses. And while we advocate also for the use of special hiring authorities. So, if you're a 30% disabled vet and you're looking for a special hiring authority to probably bring you on a lot faster, that's a tool and a resource that managers can use as well. We also provide guidance regarding employment programs that are out there as well, and veteran retention strategies, because once we get you on board with the VA, we want to keep you. And the VA really is the place that we want everyone to know we've decided that it's the employer of choice, and we think it should be the employer of choice for you as well.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you for the information, and I'm sure that our audience now, they're like, okay, that sounds like a great program. Especially, we do get a lot of questions from veterans and from military spouses about employment here at VA. So I know they're all tuned in. So what special qualities do you feel that veterans and military spouses possess that make them great candidates for working here at VA?
Let you have that one, Dr. Sutton.
No worries, we got it. So the way I kind of view this is that anyone that's probably been a part of a military culture, we've all had to abide by what we call core values. And
Right.
for the Air Force, it's always been integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. So
Right.
those are some of the key traits that that when you're hiring a veteran, that whether they served in the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Coast Guard, etc., we've all abided by core values. Well, that kind of also bleeds over to your family members and your military spouses, because when you hold yourself at a certain level, then your family typically does the same. So
Right.
those are some of the key traits that if you're a hiring manager and you want to know, why should I go with a veteran or a transitioning military person that's making that transition, or a military spouse, think about that. Managers can rest assured knowing that they have a qualified individual, because everyone that we're referring to you is going to be someone that a senior HR specialist like Cassia has reviewed their package, and you can rest assured that that person is qualified. But they also have invaluable character traits. Like, you're going to know that you're going to get a person who's going to get the job done, and they're going to make sure the job is done correctly. They're going to work in a team. They're going to be great at collaboration. They're going to be self-starters. They're going to do their due diligence to make sure that every aspect of the position is being taken care of, and that the mission is moving forward. And those are all solid characteristics that I would like as a teammate or as a manager of someone coming on board to my particular team. So, and I think most managers would agree, that's what makes, this unique population best suited for work with the VA.
Awesome. Awesome. So for those that are still kind of unfamiliar with the program or getting to learn about it, can you tell us some of the resources that VMSTEF makes available?
Yes, I'll take that. Great question. I think that, in the beginning, I think they should familiarize themselves with like USA Jobs by
Right.
creating a profile, by using the template to create a federal resume. I understand that, it's not mandatory to utilize the federal, template, but it will ensure that all pertinent information and elements are captured in your resume, ensuring that your resume encompasses, all your tasks as detailed as possible is awesome. A federal resume should be very comprehensive and should include all your knowledge, skills, and ability and competencies. Also, to ensure that they should read the job opportunity announcement in its entirety. Especially rereading the duties, looking at the qualification, and also how you will be rated. This will, help when they are applying for a position and help with the readiness of a job.
Awesome. And that's one thing that we've talked about week after week on this program, is about making sure not only to just submit your resume, make sure that you read the job announcement, to make sure that your resume closely matches in, and you're the candidate that the hiring manager is asking for. Sometimes we just get so caught up in job titles that we don't realize, okay, do we possess the skills that this hiring manager is looking for? So I'm glad you kind of regurgitated that information. I always love when guests regurgitate the information that we put on a weekly basis.
Mike, I just wanted to add to that.
Go ahead.
If you go to our VA for Vets website, you'll also find additional resources to help prepare you when you actually do become a candidate and you're actually interviewing. We have tips on dress for success. We have interviewing tips and interview guides. We have a whole host of different information because, for a lot of folks, if you're transitioning military, you probably haven't interviewed other than for a board for a promotion. So
Right.
You may be unfamiliar. What should I say? What should I not say? And how do I actually find out what that actually is that can help be my elevator speech? What should I say when I meet a manager in the in the hallway or something along the lines, and I just got a couple of moments to basically sell myself from that standpoint and
Right.
make sure that I'm resonating with them so that they want to continue the conversation. So if you go to our VA for Vets website, and I'm sure one of our teammates is going to put that link into the chat box, you'll be able to see that under the Job Seeker tab. And so there's a lot of great resources out there to help you and videos that you can watch as well.
I know one of the resources that you mentioned was resume competency. And like I said, we talk about resumes till we're blue in the face here. So, why do you feel like resume competency is maybe like one of the most valuable resources? And, why do you feel like it's that way?
The way that the position descriptions and the jobs are set up and how we develop, positions is based on competencies. We have a whole mosaic of competencies that we, read from, and to ensure that we get the right fit for the position, because we don't do it for people, it's the position. So positions have knowledge, skills, and abilities and competencies. And right now we're really focused on competencies because you want that right fit, and you want to ensure that people are coming to the table with those competencies that, you need for the job so they can hit the ground running. So that's why I believe that competencies are, we should focus on them.
Right.
Mike, I also know that, you've probably said it many times on the chats here, but many folks don't realize that your resume is not going in front of the person that you're actually looking to be hired from until it's made it through HR. Right. And HR is not allowed to assume anything. So you can't say, well, they know that if I worked in logistics, that clearly I know about, codes and this, and unless you actually include that information in your resume, there's no way that the HR specialist can take that leap and say, well, I guess they probably did this. It has to actually be included. And so I know that it takes a while to do the federal resume. And so I usually tell folks to, get yourself a nice glass of non-adult beverage, okay? Put on some fuzzy slippers and basically just kind of be prepared to sit there for a while and actually take the time to go through all the fields on the template, put all of that critical information in there. And once you've done it, you've done it. And then you could minor tweaks along the line when you see an opportunity that actually, meet your criteria, which also I would recommend that folks set up alerts so that you are notified when there's a job that matches your background and your skills as well as your interests when it pops up, so that you're not trying to remember, oh, I got to log on to USA Jobs today. If you set a search alert, don't make it so narrow that you'll never get a hit, but don't make it so broad that everything is kind of dumped in there. So if you do those things along with the recommendations, the outstanding recommendations that Kezia provided to you, we think that you're going to be successful, and hopefully your success leads you to the VA.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Speaking of taking time for that federal resume, is like that commercial, that old Snickers commercial. Going to be there for a while, grab a Snicker. So grab something that's going to help you sit there and put that federal resume together. So last question. So normally I would ask guests, what's their favorite thing about working for VA? But you know what? We're going to tweak it a little bit. And what would you say is your favorite reason for working with veterans and military spouses here at VA?
What is my favorite thing with working with veterans and military spouses? I would have to say my favorite thing is assisting them, veterans and military spouses who want to work here at the employer of choice. Assisting them in making this a reality of working here at this great department. They are a mission. They can come in and, work and help, others. So they would have an impact as well here at the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Awesome.
Well, for me, it's kind of like thinking back to how it was when I was transitioning out, and I really didn't have a clue. I had so many rejection emails from jobs that I applied for, and I just said, there's got to be a way. So, working at VMSTEP provides the opportunity to demystify the process. So if I can save someone the heartache and the challenges of applying for a federal job and being rejected when you really feel in your heart of hearts that you are qualified, but your resume just wasn't meeting the standards that it needed to meet, and having a forum for you to actually get guidance and training and assistance, that's the mission of VMSTEP. And that's why I have chosen to come and work here and why I enjoy what I do. And I think our whole team with VMSTEP, we're a small but mighty team, but that's why we're here. It's because we're all focused on the mission, and our mission is bringing talented veterans, military spouses, and those that are transitioning out of the military into the VA workforce. And we hope to be able to provide that assistance to all of those that are dialing in by going to our website and checking out some of our webinars, as well as we actually have some job fairs that are coming up that are going to be in person as well as virtual. So thank you for that.
Awesome. So Dr. Sutton, I am going to put you on the spot for a second. I normally ask this to those who served in the military. So what would you say? And I don't, when we have our pre-briefing, I don't, ask this question because I want to be a total surprise. But what would you say throughout your time in the military? What was your favorite duty station?
My favorite duty station was, I have to say, Southern California.
Nice.
At March Air Force Base, and I loved it. I mean, I spent most of my career in Southern California, and I had a great time. I always had dynamic teammates that I worked with, and we did some really amazing things. We were at the largest recruiting squadron that we had within our recruiting force. And we also had Hawaii and Guam. So what more can
Nice. Yeah. So, but yeah, I love to hear those when I have guests on that serve in the military. I always ask them at the end, and I never let them know because I like to see their faces light up when they think about that favorite spot. So, but thank you for answering that question. So if you're just joining us or you joined us in the middle of the interview today, we were talking to Dr. Andre Sutton and Miss Cassia Davis. They work for the VA's Veteran and Military Spouse Talent Engagement Program. So if you didn't catch the interview in its entirety, you can always come back to any of our social media pages, particularly LinkedIn, and we'll keep this on our YouTube and LinkedIn pages, and you can come back and watch the whole interview in its entirety. So before we leave, again, I want to thank Dr. Sutton and Miss Davis for joining us. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a blast.
Awesome.
Go VA.
Go VA, right. Go VA. So if you have any questions about the VMSTEP program, leave those questions in the comment section. We'll forward those questions over to Dr. Sutton and Ms. Davis and get those answers back to you. But as always, thank you for watching Talk About It Tuesday, and we'll see you all on next week. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.